sometimes you got to make 2 videos a day. It seems like lately, I've been making 2 videos a day. What is up, Finn fans? So, I only make these videos when a lot of people reach out to me and ask me to talk about it. And a lot of people have reached out to me and asked me to talk about this. So you can tell by the title, are the Dolphins, whatever I made the title, involving Tua Tagovailoa and exploring options, yada, yada. Josina Anderson came out and made a report that sources and this and that. We're going to listen to what she has to say. But I will say this about Josina Anderson. I'm not knocking her. I'm not discrediting her or anything, but the whole Vic Fangio situation made it hard to believe some of the things she said. But again, let's listen to what she has to say. I haven't heard this. I saw the tweet and the quote, but I didn't listen to the 3-minute video. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to listen to 3-minute video, and we're going to see what she has to say about this situation.
A team that you did mention there, aside from the Ravens, Josina, the Dolphins and Tua technically entering a contract year, but Miami can exercise that 5th-year option anytime before May 1st. Josina, based on your context and what you're hearing, do you think the Dolphins are going to get something done with Tua sooner rather than later?
Well, you're right. I mean, they're going into the 4th year as a former first rounder, so they have to make a decision on exercising that 5th-year option, which would net him about $23.1 million in 2024. Now, even though the reports were coming out of the end of the season that the experts expect Tua to be 100% when the time of football comes, league sources have told me again last night and today that there are members in the organization of the Dolphins who are aware that the team is exploring all of their options at quarterback, including potentially moving in a different direction from Tua. And so, yes, that is happening. That is part of the due diligence that a general manager should do when you are considering the concussion in the head history, the injury history in the head to Tua and what they've experienced, and making sure that you have the insurance to cover the depth, because the notion is and the feeling is that with each successive concussion that, the risk gets higher and higher to impacting a quarterback's football future in this league, and you have to kind of cover for that, for that potential risk. Now, that doesn't mean to say that, Tua doesn't have potential as a quarterback. We know he led the league in passer rating at 105.5, and he had his best touchdown to interception ratio last year, 25-8, had his best career year in passing yards and all those other things, and obviously showed a lot of improvement. I was at that week 2 game when he and Lamar went back and forth, and he had the 5 touchdowns in the second half and all of that other stuff. But the reality is, going from week 3 last year against the Bills, week 4 Thursday night football against the Bengals, and again towards the end of the season against the Packers, there were multiple instances where there was either a concussion or we saw video where his head did hit the field. And remember, even in that last concussion, it took him 38 days to clear the protocol. So we're talking about due diligence.
That last part. The last concussion, it took him 38 days. It didn't take him 38 days because even Mike McDaniel came out and said that it was the team that held him out. So I'm just going to correct that real quick.
Diligence that makes sense per the job that the front office has to do in that building.
Yeah, Tua limited to 13 games this season because of concussions. That is our NFL insider, Josina Anderson, joining us from Indy at the NFL Combine. Thank you so much.
So essentially what she's saying is that the Miami Dolphins are doing their due diligence. Sources, again, we're back to that, sources. But what she's hearing from certain sources in the NFL, not even certain sources in the organization, is that the Dolphins are doing their due diligence when it comes to Tua Tagovailoa, because of his concussions and all that stuff, about possibly moving on from him, possibly giving. Essentially, this is what I heard from Josina Anderson, and you can take what I say and say you're wrong, whatever, but this is what I heard from Josina Anderson. The Miami Dolphins have 3 options, right? 4 options. My apologies. The Miami Dolphins have 4 options when it comes to Tua Tagovailoa. 1, do nothing. Let him play the 2023 Or obviously not pick up his 5th-year option and do nothing. Let him play the 2023 season. If he balls out, fantastic. You try to work a contract extension. If he gets injured or he has a huge regression, you move on from him. That's option 1. Option 2, you pick up the 5th-year option, and then you have him under contract for the next 2 years and hope he can develop in those next 2 years. Hopefully he can stay healthy those next 2 years, continue to do well, and then you give him the contract extension. Third option, give him a contract extension now so that you don't have to pay him $45 million, $50 million down the road if he balls out for the next 2 years and if he shows that he is the one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And then the fourth option is trade him. Trade for a quarterback, move on from him, explore your options. Those are 4 options, and it seems like from what I'm hearing from Josina Anderson is that the Dolphins, from her sources, there are some in the Dolphins organization that are exploring all 4 of those options. The Dolphins have not picked up the 5th-year option. They have till May 1st to pick up the 5th-year option. The Dolphins haven't mentioned anything in the aspect of talking to him or his agents about doing a contract extension. And I'm assuming they are still worried about the fact that he had 2 concussions last year that took him out of the season. And obviously they were so worried about the second concussion that they didn't have him go through concussion protocol, and they ended his season pretty much. Which, you know, if they let him go through concussion protocol, I honestly think he plays against the Jets. I think he doesn't play against the Patriots. He plays against the Jets. He plays against Buffalo. I think if they let him go through concussion protocol like every other NFL player would have, he would have played the Jets. He would have played the Buffalo Bills. 100% that's probably what would have happened. And the way that the Dolphins defense was playing against Buffalo, we would have beat Buffalo. But the Miami Dolphins shut him down. Josina Anderson said it took 38 days for him to go through concussion protocol. It did not. Mike McDaniel came out, and I think Chris Greer also came out and said that they did it. They held him out of concussion protocol, and they kind of ended his season for him. So that being said, right, we're going to hear these things. And we're going to hear these rumors. We're going to hear these sources. I don't like to delve in sources and rumors and inside sources. And again, I have no sources. I have Big O, who has a great connection with the Miami Dolphin organization, but I don't have sources. So I can't sit here and say, oh, I have someone in the building that says that the Dolphins are very interested in so-and-so, or I have somebody in the building that's telling me that, you know, the toilet paper is super soft and the bathroom on the 3rd floor of the stadium. So if you are going to poop, go to the 3rd floor. I don't have these people. All I can tell you is what I'm hearing, and then we can together make educated guesses. And again, from what Josina Anderson is telling me is the Miami Dolphins are exploring all of their options. And one of their options is to potentially move on from Tua Tagovailoa. Now, you have to realize the Miami Dolphins have negative $16 million in cap space, so they have to restructure and release and trade and do a bunch of things. And I already made that video talking about how to get to $50 million. So if they were to trade for Lamar, they would lose 2 firsts minimum, and they'd have to pay him a lot. So there goes your cap space, and you got to hope that he can play well enough that you're going to lose players that you want to keep, right? Because Jalen Phillips, Jalen Waddle, and Javon Holland, those 3 guys are going to have to get paid at the same exact time. So you put a lot of money into the quarterback position, you're going to lose one of the 3 potentially because you're not going to be able to pay them. And then there's other people, there's other scenarios with money. And then there's Aaron Rodgers, who he has a big cap hit coming in. And then, you know, there's, you know, could they go for Derek Carr? There's options, right? But again, from what I'm hearing from Josina Anderson, they have their 4 options, and they're weighing all 4 of their options, and they'll make their decision. Me as a Miami Dolphin fan, all I could do is sit back, tell you guys what Tua did. Again, I think Monday I'll put the film breakdown out of Tua Tagovailoa's film from 2022. Talk about the good and the bad. Very hard. There's a lot of good, and there's a good amount of bad. It was a good year. It was an up and down year. But I'm going to put that out Monday. I'm going to work all throughout the weekend to get it to you unless news breaks. And obviously I'll make a video for you. But there's options. So the 4 options, all I can do right now is continue with my process, continue with the videos I got planned. And if something breaks, if Miami Dolphins trade Tua to the Baltimore Ravens and we get Lamar and, blah, 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 then I'll make a video on it. We'll react to it and we'll move forward. But all we can do right now is just sit back and wait. Because a lot of it is hearsay, a lot of it is rumors, a lot of it is sources. But for Josina Anderson to say the Dolphins are weighing their options, of course. There are 4 options. They need to decide which is the smartest to go. Do you not give him the 5th-year option and let him play 2023? Do you give him the 5th-year option? You got him for 2 years. Do you give him the contract extension? You got him for longer. You got to hope he can stay healthy. Or do you trade him and bring in a quarterback? There's your 4 options. What are the Dolphins going to do? They're weighing all 4 of them. That's what I got from Josina. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. And other than that, I will see you. If no news breaks, I'll see you Monday. I'm going to do the film breakdown. But obviously, if news breaks and all that stuff, I'm going to make a video. Plus, I think I'm going to do a recap of the full combine. We'll look at the best and worst of the combine and kind of all that stuff. I'm going to start bringing in Broshmo, where he's going to help me and all that good stuff. But other than that, I'll see you in the next one. Like usual, stay classy. And fins up.